Everything's set. And welcome. We are streaming live. Welcome, everyone. This is the 229th session of what used to be called I Need Living Conversations. Now it's called Owl Freedom Teachings. I am Julian Catari. I'm with Blue Heron Women, and we have the third session of the Arts of Seduction, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is one of those very special videos that is very important to have to share. It's very important information that allows for freedom in all senses. This is just key information. To be free, we need to unblock our sexuality if we are to be free. And of course, that means that this video cannot go on all platforms, but it is going on the main YouTube and Rumble platforms. So it's going to be there if you want to watch it. And welcome to this session.
Yeah, and it's either number 3 or number 4. I lost track, but tonight will be the last on the Arts of Seduction. But we're going.
It would be. Yeah.
Something.
No,
else.
I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, we've had many sessions about it.
Yeah. So tonight we start with the art of thrusting, and I am a woman that likes to look at a man's ass, and in the last few years it just seems like men have no asses anymore. And I read somewhere that it's the loss of thrusting has caused the loss of men's asses.
Okay. What an observation there.
Yeah. So, but however, when we think of adding an element of surprise or excitement to our sex lives, and we think we want to bring out something new to break the monotony, we automatically think of new positions or new geography, like, oh, we haven't done it on the kitchen counter yet, or the bathroom counter, or in the bathtub, or wherever. What we don't consider is what is the main ingredient of any sexual position. It's the thrust. Vary the thrust and you vary the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So the length, the pleasure, and effectiveness of sex depends on the artistry of your thrust, man, which builds your ass. So regardless of geography and position, sex can only really come alive with the thrust, and the ancient love texts suggest an equal number of thrusting styles for both men and women. And they suggest a rhythm of like 9 shallow and 1 deep, and then you stop.
Okay.
With men, and then take a break, and then start again. And then with women, she's the decision maker on the thrust in a different way. The simplest is knowing how to position herself with pillows or shapes, because that changes the angle of the yoni and how he accesses it. So then the next is pillow talk. The next art of seduction is pillow talk. The Kama Sutra says, men, that you must tell your lover stories before and after sex to create the mood. It was a man's role to tell these stories to seduce and pleasure his beloved. So before sex, the story should be naughty, gossipy, and suggestive to arouse and excite and get the juices flowing. On the other hand, after sex stories were meant to be sweet and romantic, of happy endings and successful romances to make your lover feel secure, happy, and cherished. With all the weird and wonderful positions that the Kama Sutra is most renowned for, the conversation, the teasing, the give and take of ideas, the hide and seek of all your fantasies, the stories that you tell each other are the most revolutionary tool of seduction. And it is what happens after the orgasm that actually decides the quality of the orgasm. If she is cuddled and made to love and feel wanted, it becomes pleasurable for her. Or if she's told stories that don't include his ex after orgasm, it's pleasurable. But if she's told, this is, I'm speaking from experience here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. So after sex, men, it's time to make your lover feel loved. It's the time to lay the foundation for the next sexual encounter. And no relationship survives without effective communication, and the sex needs constant refreshing up to stay exciting. So then there's sex and food. According to ancient wisdom, a big heavy meal before sex is not a good idea, as all the energy of the body then is being consumed or channeled into the digestive process and leaves none for sexual arousal. So food should be had after sex. And the Kama Sutra recommends that after sex, men should offer the beloved a beautifully presented gourmet meal. Before sex, one should stick to light, savory snacks and a couple of drinks, and literally only 2 drinks, because being drunk reduces the erection and is not conducive to great sex.
Yep.
Sex needs energy, and good sex needs a lot of energy. Fabulous sex needs huge amounts of energy. So food and drink should help in this process, not distract from it. And according to the Kama Sutra, the best kind of aphrodisiac was simply the right eating. And what the Kama Sutra says is one of the most popular aphrodisiacs was a mixture of scented water and honey, because it was also a great cure for constipation.
Okay.
Which is a huge detriment to sex. But fish was also an excellent food for lovers, because the ancients believed that fish expelled trapped wind and reduced bloating. And getting rid of excess wind in the body was the quickest way to unblock the channels of sexual energy. The zinc in almonds boost the male sex hormones, and the ancients believed that their fragrance was a turn-on for women. Again, alcohol was great, but in moderation. A couple of glasses lowers inhibitions and relaxes and adds to the beauty of some people. But too much wine, however, causes people to perspire and flop all over their lovers.
Yeah.
So moderation is a good compromise. And then there's therapeutic sex, which is for the purpose of healing, not or orgasm or pleasure. So sexual energy is the most powerful form of energy the body can produce, and generally it all dissipates with orgasm. During sex, the metabolic processes of the body, and all the metabolic processes of the body, are activated. Every single organ goes into some form of change, and everything metabolizes during sex to produce an energy so powerful it can create life. So the underlying principle of therapeutic sex is control. The positions had to be held for long periods of time. It wasn't about orgasm or even pleasure. It was about harnessing, holding, and directing sexual energy. And this energy can heal everything. So the first thing is to master the rhythm of thrusting again. And for therapeutic sex, the most important thing is that the thrusts are done very slowly, and they should be done in sequences of 10. 9 shallow, 1 deep, and some of them are even changed. So, and all of the positions are actually just based on stillness. Harnessing that wild pendulum of consciousness to come to stillness. So with that, we're going to go back to, that's the end of the arts of seduction. We could go in to the whole list of 64 arts.
Yeah, the Kama Sutra is like a Bible.
Yeah. So, but we're not going to do that. Let's go back to philosophy. Last week we ended with talking about Eros and the first phase of Eros, that is about being on the inside of the experience, not on the outside looking in. So the second phase of Eros is the intense yearning that comes out of the divine kiss. It's the yearning for oneness. So experiencing Eros is the one thing we can do on the physical plane that activates the yearning, the desire, the longing. And before we go on, let's go back to the laws, the cosmic laws that guide us, and to the number one, or actually, let's view it as a circle with a dot in the center rather than the number one, because the one is a straight line and there's nothing linear about this. So this represents the perfect totality that precedes all division, right? And in this totality of nothingness, a subtle heat gathers.
Mm-hmm.
In this moment before motion, a space opens because something stirs in the silence. And what stirs is a yearning, a longing, a desire. And this is consciousness. It is the consciousness of yearning to be seen, to be known, to be felt, to be loved, and to be gotten. And I sat with that word for a while in physical, and then because, and I had changed it, and then I went back to the gotten, because as I have been deepening into this, I have been getting it so much better. So I've been being gotten by the oneness. So yeah, we want to be gotten by our, specifically women, we want to be gotten by men, but it's a deeper, that yearning is so much deeper. And so the Taoists knew this as Jing, the primordial essence, a dense generative substance. So this is consciousness. And let's go back. So let's keep that in mind here. So then the two-ness, when we get into the two-ness,
Mm-hmm.
there's the polarity. There's a yearning to fulfill the desire to be seen, to be heard, to be gotten.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think it's important to sit with that yearning. It's a much deeper word than desire, because it's just like this. I don't know. We can desire fine wine, we can desire, but do we yearn for it? No.
Mm-hmm.
Do we crave it? Not necessarily, no. Good food, fun, but what do we really crave? What do we yearn for? So that's what consciousness is what do we yearn for? And you have witnessed, actually, as I have started in the last 2 to 3 years, of what is it I desire for this big vision, the
Mm-hmm.
shifting and the changing, and the right, as soon as I asked myself that came to the surface. So the third phase then of Eros is called presence. If we aren't present, we cannot experience Eros.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be present, we have to let go of the past, of all baggage, and the future. And the female essence loves the male to be present. And to be present is to be in the now, to let go of control, all ideas of how the other person should be. And it is important for us to understand that when we are really present in ourselves, we create the space for the other to exist. So then the fourth phase of Eros is what we would call the interconnectivity of all being. It's a celebration of the divine in all things. And the fifth phase of Eros is seeing the other, which depends on the first four and is the essence of what the female needs. Because if the male cannot see her, the relationship is missing the most important thing. It's also really important for the male to be seen, to be appreciated for his thoughts and ideas, for the willingness to have a purpose and direction in life. So this seeing and being able to see each other comes from the inside of us. It means connecting. It's the having the sense of presence to allow the other to be who they truly are without giving up control of who we think they should be. We are not our personalities, which is basically our ego. We are that deeper essence of the divine, if we want to say God, the fullness of just being, and being totally in the presence of the divine is the secret of Eros. To drop the bundle is to let go of the past and the future so we can be in the non-goal directed present, where the dance and ecstasy of Eros is in totality. So with that, we're going to start next week. We're from now on, we're going to start talking about the science of non-aging and how our comforts that we have adopted have actually caused what we call aging. So and at the same time, we're going to keep this going because why the art of sexual cultivation must be preserved. And we're probably all going to be like, yeah, what the fuck, we don't need that. We're going to delve deep into the Taoist art of the bed chamber, because sexual energy, and we're starting this tonight, this leads us into the two-ness, the polarity. Sexual energy is sacred. The union of yin and yang is not just biological or pleasurable, it is cosmological. It's beyond us, right? It is so far beyond us, and it mirrors the fusion of heaven and earth, of spirit and form, of the manifest and the mysterious, or the invisible. So to preserve this art is to preserve a vision of human potential that has all but vanished in our modern world. It's not about seduction. It's not about conquest. It's the internal harmonization of essence, energy, and spirit, using the practices of union, restraint, breath control, and spiritual merging to transcend mortality, which is what we all want, right? We're all looking for the youthfulness from products, rather from this, to awaken the immortal embryo within us. The art of sexual cultivation has been lost because it demands presence, stillness, reverence, and commitment. True sexual cultivation begins not with domination or stimulation. It begins with listening. Not just listening to the other, but listening to ourselves. And it offers us a way of relating to our own energy and to the other that restores sacredness, clarity, and inner coherence. It shows us how to become more fully alive in body, breath, and essence. The Taoist art of the bed chamber is not simply about pleasure or even about sex in the ordinary sense. It's about transformation through intimacy. So to enter the bed chamber is to enter the furnace of life itself. And again, it's not about performance, conquest, or pleasure in isolation. It's not a set of tricks to enhance sensation, and it's not justification for indulgence. It's a sacred science. It sees union as the beginning of a path. So today we live in an age of sexual abundance and yet spiritual starvation. And we have an abundance of spiritual feasting, but we don't connect it with sexuality. Pleasure is everywhere. We see it in pornography, in the hookup culture, the hyperstimulation, and yet true intimacy is very rare. Desire is accelerated and not digested. And so sexuality has been uprooted from its deeper purpose. Sexual energy is something we can work with, honor, and elevate. So the first line, the first transmission came from the plain girl. She was not a beautiful woman, but she was brought to the Yellow Emperor, and it was time for the Emperor to listen. And the first line she said that came from the text from her is that without warming the stove, the dragon will freeze. Man, that's incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
Without warming the stove, the dragon will freeze. This line outlines the entire cosmology of sexual energy, the necessity of awakening yin before initiating yang. The stove is the feminine, the gate of yin, the receptivity of the womb, the blood and breath of earth. The dragon is the masculine, the vital impulse and the power of motion. Without the yin being warmed, prepared, and honored, the yang loses potency and the dance collapses into dysfunction, which is our current state of being for most of us. So that's just a taste. We're going to get into that further next week, starting next week, the Taoist art of the bed chamber. But we're really going to explore the two-ness. But before we get there, let's talk about the oneness again. Imagine an atom in the center, a dense nucleus, and around it, like little marbles, electrons are cutting circles along beautiful elongated orbits. That's what we've been taught. And that just simply isn't true. We might have even heard that the atom is 99.9% empty space. The truth is that the atom is not empty. It is filled to the brim. And the problem is that we're used to thinking of electrons as tiny balls or marbles or particles. And the truth is that the electron is not a dot. It's not an event. It's a thick fog. It's a cloud. The electron races around the nucleus so fast and exists in so many places at once that it turns into a probability cloud. It is literally smeared across space, and this is called the wave function. And this is what I mean by that. I have finally been gotten. I'm getting this, right? To the point where I can share it in a livable, fun form. So I've been gotten by it. So the wave function fills up the entire volume of the atom. There's no emptiness. There is a dense, saturated, vibrating field. We're not made of solid particles. We are made of speed. We're made of probabilities. So when we pick up a rock, we're holding a cluster of fields of vibrating clouds. Or when we pick up a branch, it's the same thing, a branch of a tree that's come down. So if we are a collection then of vibrating clouds, then why is your cloud not just passing through the cloud of the chair you're sitting on, or the cloud of me passing through the chair I'm sitting on, letting us fall to the floor? Well, this creates the illusion of the impenetrable wall that we call reality, the secret of levitation. Next week, to really be gotten by this. It's so said by spiritual teachers, gurus, that, but I've never been gotten by this like this before. By getting it, I've been gotten by it. That It's the resistance to just it's the resistance of the atoms of the chair that keep your electron cloud and my electron cloud from sinking through it. But we're going to go into that so much further. So, but so basically, what we need to be gotten by is the fact that we are vibrating fields that have taken on temporary form. We are frozen light that has acquired mass. So if we are all of space, then why are you specifically stuck in the body you are in, and why am I specifically stuck in the body I am in? Why don't I feel myself as you? Why don't you feel yourself as me, or as your neighbor that lives beside you? The answer is that we're not stuck in the bodies we're in. We are also in our neighbors. We're also in the person of in the body of the person we might think of as an enemy. We're in the body of the bird flying by, and in the tree that we may have just cut down. We are like an ocean that has filled millions of pitchers, and the pitchers are all shaped differently, and they stand separate from each other. We did not dive specifically into our bodies. We dove simultaneously into all bodies at the same time, and now we're looking through the world, at the world through billions of eyes at the same time. And this is where the Mayan calendar with the 20-day signs comes in, because that gives us the glasses, right? Those day signs, those mind gives us the glasses of how we're seen, so to speak. So you and I are not separate. We are one. We are just looking at the world through different eyes to experience ourselves. And right now you are focused on the specific pair of eyes that you are in, and I am too. And the world cannot exist without us. If we removed ourselves, the observer, the observation also disappears. Just like a dance, without the dancer, there is no dance. The dance doesn't happen without a dancer. Right? So when we're looking at a tree, we're not looking at a tree. We're looking at a part of ourselves. This is the most important part of getting the oneness and being gotten by the oneness. We are looking at a part of ourselves that has taken on the form of a tree. And we suffer because we have forgotten who we are. But the world we have formed is our game, our divine hallucination. And we invented time. You invented time. I invented time, so we wouldn't be bored. We invented space, so there would be somewhere for us to roam. We invented others, so there would be someone to love. And all this exists because we are looking at it right now. So the bottom line is, in the end, there is only the eternal you, the eternal me, the eternal us, the eternal oneness that is unborn and invulnerable. And you and I are the spectators in this theater of oneness, two-ness, and three-ness. And that has, I've finally been gotten by that, right? But this kind of really sets the stage for understanding the two-ness, the yin and the yang, and the art of sexual cultivation that our fifth world of illumination is all about. So next week, we'll go further into the Taoist art of bedchamber, along with the lies of aging, and how our comforts have actually kept our bodies from being what they were meant to be. So it's not aging, it's just our comfort.
Yeah, okay. Wow, so that weaved itself into something.
Yeah.
It's something
And
that is
that's what tantra is. But
that
I'm
yeah.
choosing to not use the word tantra because when you use the word tantra, then you think Indian, East Indian, Ayurvedic, and I'm not. No, I'm not going there. But
Mhm.
that's what the meaning of the Sanskrit word tantra is a weaving together of all this.
Yeah.
And what's the purpose? To let us know who we truly are, so we don't need authorities. We don't need centralized government. We don't need police. We don't need to, right?
Hmm.
We don't need anyone else to tell us anything.
Yeah.
Because when we know that we are, it's just, I mean, and I've heard this time and time again, but this just kind of really, I've now started thinking as I watched a bird flying by, that's me. Me.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a finally that's where this yearning to be gotten, right? To be gotten by a man, which tells me as we get more into the arts of the Taoist arts of the bedchamber, and really to dive into the yin and the yang, you realize this primordial substance is absolutely a feminine energy, which created the clitoris that has 8,000 nerve endings in it. So it's not a straight linear line. It would be better. It's represented with the bindu, the dot at the center of the circle, which is the clitoris surrounded by a circle. Um,
Hmm.
and then the yang came second to fulfill her desire for being gotten. So he got her.
Hmm.
But he also has the same desires. So we're not right. But it's yeah, it's just really, really, as I've really sat with this, it's really become clear that that primordial generative substance, the oneness, is truly a feminine, a yin substance.
Yeah.
And we can call it goddess, we can call it oneness, we can whatever. It just is so vast and that we can't really truly understand it because how can you, which is where the story of Santa Claus comes in, which should be Mrs. Claus, not Mr. Claus, right? How can you be in all places at the same time at the wait, wait.
Yeah.
So but it's by understanding the dance of two-ness, by really truly understanding two-ness.
Okay.
So and we will expand on that next week as we
Mhm.
also talk about how our comforts actually cause our aging. And it's not really truly aging, it's just our comforts not allowing our body to work the way it's meant to.
And so there's not even comforts,
Yeah.
or
I mean,
or
it's,
the hallucination of comfort. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's yeah. That's what it. I was just listening to. Have you heard about the Doctor or Professor Jiang? Jiang?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's really cool, and he talks about this all this AI stuff and this machine stuff and everything that is happening now being just an advanced form of an hallucination that is casted and is trying to keep us there, and we're not even following it. We're eventually just going to figure out the truth, or enough people
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that's how it works. It by projecting these illusions and comfort. So everything that we talk about here is has that goal of untangling those illusions and giving you data that is very, very helpful and crucial to build a an idea, narration, a story, the right story. The wrong story, we get told the wrong story, and bless you. and and here we give you all the pieces to so that you can join us and we can together build the right story. So
Yeah.
next week is about the what would you title that? The
The
illusions of comfort.
duality of, of the Taoist art of the bedchamber with why our comforts cause aging, something like that.
Okay. Already. So yeah, we're gonna keep the same time. That's 7:30 in Mexico, 8:30 in the US Central
Yeah,
Standard Time.
for now.
And for next week, next Wednesday. And please join us and please let us know that you exist and that you are also on this path of gathering the truth, of coming to the truth of and let us know if you want to be free or not, because that's the first thing you do is speaking out your intentions, saying it.
Yeah.
If you don't say it, you can wish it, but if you don't say it, it's not going to happen. Okay. So, anything else?
Well, I mean, so we're talking about where you and I are forming or allowing the the fully changing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this also, when we think of the oneness being an eternal changing flux, it comes through the mRNA that comes through the
Mm-hmm.
female, which always supplies a different, right? She adds in the fifth element. So, but um, where am I? Where am I going with this? The train left the station without me. um, oh, Udalville societies, pleasurable, rapturous life societies. To become an Udalvillian, you have to be a warrior because we have disciplines that we've called them sovereignty pillars. They're now disciplines, and this sexual alchemy is absolutely a discipline. Economic sovereignty is a discipline. So to really truly become an Udalvillian, you have to be willing to become a warrior or a samurai, because that lifestyle is all about the discipline of learning and adhering to the, or not adhering to teachings that have come before, but opening to what takes us beyond what we already know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we are always accepting applications for warrior interns. I'm using the language that I grew up with as a nurse, interns and residency, warrior interns, and warrior explorer residents.
Mm-hmm.
to join us in forming as these Udalville erotic, rapturous life ranching societies are formed through us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alrighty. So that's the invitation is there, and there's lots more that we will be talking about. If somebody wants to join us, that's all the data, that's all the info, and anything else, we'll say goodbye for today.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So see you next week, everyone.